Section 3. Getting out. 15. So, one night your mate messages you. They've found an event they know you'd like to go to. A big event. In another country, in another time zone. Okay, I'll admit, it's a little over-exaggerated, but it could happen. For most of us though, it's usually something along the lines of a friend asking you if you want to come to another friend's house, a bar, or just to hang out. Of course, you'll say yes, right? People view anxiety and autism in different ways, and its effects widely cross on certain aspects of their lives. When an opportunity like the one above comes along, things aren't always an easy yes or a no. Let's take a look at both sides of the coin. 16. Overthinkers like me, for instance, have already started to think about both answers before the question above has finished being answered. Why? Well, you see, we like to have control over what we do, where we go, and we want to know what might hurt us or where other people are in relation to us. The above isn't about controlling others, only ourselves. Living the way we sometimes do, doing the things that keep us prepared, is usually the only thing we know how to do 100% right. It helps keep us informed to our options and possible outcomes. The issue with that is, it isn't always correct, and it misses the mark more often than not. Okay, we say yes. Right, cool, let's go. What do I wear? Will I still go? Can't I just stay at home? Have I eaten? I want to sit in the corner. Help! What time is it? I need to stay home. I can't stay there. We'll only go for half an hour. What time do I need to leave? Can I come an hour later? It's dark. Where am I going? My bed looks pretty good right now. Do I need a taxi back? I can't make it. Hide! As you can see, this isn't an organised list of things you need to do. It's both a good list and an unfortunate hindrance to what you want to achieve. Normally, your brain is pretty good at doing things in a linear fashion. This means that it thinks about one thing, gets it over with, and moves on to the next. Add anxiety or autism to the mix, and you've got a mess waiting to happen. Let's look at some of the questions from the list and see what happens next. What time is it? Is it day? Night? Am I already late? If it's a day event, my clothes will be different to the night event. How long do I have till it's time? Then 5 minutes later, the overthinking cycle starts again. Where am I going? Do I know the place? Do I know everyone that will be there? Do I know where it is? Can I get back? Is it a safe place? Is it loud, quiet, light inside, dark inside? Is it a stuffy place? Will I be able to take my coat off while I'm there? Can I keep it on without anybody realising? Like the above, this comes up again and again when other questions are asked. As you can tell, a lot of these things cause the same questions to come up over and over, and you're almost doomed to repeat it. 17. So, you said, no thank you, to their invite. Somehow, you thought this end of the deal was better. Less stress, you thought. I'll feel better, you're thinking. It doesn't work that way most of the time though, I'm afraid. Your questions are different, but the same things happen, just like the yes option. Will they think I'm horrible? Do I change my mind? Help! Why can't I make myself go? How can I live like this? Help! I can't stay all night. No one wanted to come with me. Will they ever invite me again? I've ruined my friendships. Over the years, I've been in the above position many times. You don't want to go because you don't know how to talk to people. You don't know when to butt into a conversation or when to stop talking once you've started. You fear that they won't like what you have to say, or even if you start talking at all. Your brain has overthought it so that you don't need to go, so you don't. This position, just like the yes position, is just another side of the same coin for those with anxiety or autism to be in. We think it's better to stay away sometimes, not to get into things we can't think through 100% of every detail. We suffer with living in those 5 minutes for hours overthinking every little detail, working out if we can make it work somehow. It's kind of like defusing a live bomb. Every second counts against us. 18. So, how do we break both of these positions so it doesn't feel like that anymore? Remember, back in chapter 13, I detailed how the brain likes to do things and what can happen when it goes astray. Turns out, something else happens too. You can't remember anything. Your brain really likes to keep your memories and thoughts organised, and it tries its best whilst you get on with your day-to-day tasks. The problem with that, though, is that when certain anxiety or autism traits come into play, the memory saving system gets disrupted. Think back to the above task of the washing up. You're at the sink, washing a plate, and your wife, husband, son, daughter comes in and asks you a question. Once they're done and go away, what do you do next? You wash the plate. It doesn't matter how far through you were before, you start washing it as though you just put it in the sink. This means that when you come to do things, your brain tries to fill in the blanks. We talked above about doing only one thing, but your brain wants to do more, and sometimes it tries to trick us. It doesn't know it, but the brain needs time to process, and if it doesn't get that time, things can go wrong. Washing the plate could be the most important task in the world, but your brain can still make you think otherwise by interfering with those signals around what's around you and how you think you feel. The complications of this doesn't affect most people, but sometimes it can show itself to even the most confident, most determined of us by getting you to wash that plate again. 19. Remembering things is a multi-step process. Our brain is so complex, and no one still understands how it works entirely. Although I'm not qualified to help you remember things, I can give you some advice on what might help you. Getting the brain to remember things is a little like habit forming. To form a habit means that you need to do the same thing at the same time every day or even every hour, depending on what you want a habit for. Some things can help get the job done, from an alarm, a habit app on your phone, a phone call from someone to remind you, etc. Let's go back to the going out section above. You will either want to go or not go, but a normal person won't have as many thoughts going through their head about the reasons why not it happened, or what would have happened if they did. The only thing I would say worked for me was to go out by myself on my own terms. That may sound like the wrong thing to do, and I thought that too for many years. I needed control to be on my side, and the best way I found to do that was to go out when I was ready, either by myself, put in a call to a friend to come with me. Even writing this, it sounds wrong, but I'm telling you it's the best thing. Whilst I'm out, my brain is recording, logging the events around me, what it feels like, looks like, smells like. It can then use this information next time to build a more realistic picture of whether going out or staying in will endanger me or keep me from doing the things that I'm trying to have a better grasp of. So, I go out more now. I still don't like crowds, too many loud people or cramped places when I eat. However, if it is on my own terms, it makes it more bearable. I control how I got there, how I'm getting home, who I'm with, where I go, when I leave, etc. All these things take their chance to cause some overthinking, and every one that I can squash makes things that little bit better. Now, I know that control isn't everything, and in a lot of situations, you'll feel like you're not in control. This is normal, and most people feel it to some extent. What makes people like us the exception, though, is that those things above result in our lives being disrupted. Hopefully, through reading the above section, you're aware that this isn't an end-all be-all scenario anymore. 20. The next part of getting out is to remember that everyone has a limit. You actually have two of them. They work to keep you safe and to stop you doing things that you really don't want to do. As you might have guessed, Those limits are in the brain and they aren't necessarily 100% right all the time. The first limit is all about what you can do or what you want to do. These are things you get joy from or feel happy doing. People generally want more of this in their lives, so to seek things out that extend this limit is normal and encouraged. However, this limit does have a dark side. It's partially responsible for those emotions you feel when you didn't want to go out in the scenario above. It can push a little too much at times, and then you feel overwhelmed or anxious, which can have a lasting effect after the moment once it's passed. The second limit is the one most people come across. The limit hits in when you don't want to do something or see someone or go somewhere. This limit is responsible for much more suffering in day-to-day events. Its hold is harder, colder, and can leave you feeling like you've missed out, lost things, or generally useless at life. The above isn't supposed to scare you into thinking awful things. It's to educate you and help you understand more of what happens when we're faced with things that we want to do, but either feel we can't do, or that we'll lose some control if we do. As I said, those limits exist for plenty of reasons, but as part of remembering things, the brain has to retrain itself to recognize when something is right or wrong. That's right, your brain has just become a kid again. Everyone worries and stresses about things. This has kind of been accepted as normal, but it shouldn't be. An example would be that I don't like to fly. I know it's okay, and I'm not actually afraid of the plane or flying. I'm afraid of the airport, the crowds of people, and the stuffy, enclosed atmosphere. For the moment, just take one of those things, say the crowds or people, or the atmosphere. Either go out by yourself or with someone else under your control and experience that one item slowly and give yourself time to learn about it, to understand it, and to correct your brain so that the next experience, your brain can place it a closer limit to I'm happy doing this instead of I really can't do this. It really does make all the difference, and you can feel like you're moving forwards instead of sideways.